Is turn to ban. Reserve time. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Dire team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Final series for the night. Blaze, how you doing?
Newbee.
Legion Commander.
Dire team pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
Puck.
Newbee's turn to pick.
And worthy of the name that they've given themselves as well. Team Random with the first phase Lich picked up here, as well as a Puck. I have this sort of like, not love-hate, this like love and slightly terrified feeling towards Team Random. Like, because there's always something, right? Whether it's the Invoker Brewmaster, whether it's like, you know, the Alchemist Huskar where you pool and ags in the first 10 minutes, or whatever it happens to be, this group of players always find something new. And now it's the Lich first phase. Do I dare ask you what you think this is about?
Silencer.
Dire team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. Newbee's turn to ban. Dire team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. Newbee's turn to ban.
what is going to be like your next band? What do you really try to do
10
to
seconds remaining.
cut off Team Random before they get ahead in terms of the draft? Like
5
there's so many
seconds
options,
remaining.
there's so many question marks, and I still don't really know exactly what they have in mind.
Reserve
Yeah, and
time.
it's interesting too. I just noticed that it's Faith Beyond that's actually the one that picked the drafting. I don't know if that's indicative of any changes within the team. I know that the team has always been one that kind of drafts together a lot anyways.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. Like they actually did a lot of scrimming over at the BTS house for like before TI6,
10
and they were
seconds
constantly
remaining.
communicating through the draft. Like it wasn't really any one-man show at all. So
5
it
seconds
literally might just be
remaining.
one person wants to wear the crown. It doesn't really matter too much, honestly.
Okay. So
Reserve time.
that's going to be a Naga ban as well. A lot of the illusion-based heroes taken out of the pool at this point by Newbee. And meanwhile, for Random, they're taking out a lot of the magic dealers that deal AoE damage. Maybe thinking about going for a Terrorblade is a possibility, but again, with the Legion Commander already there, that seems unlikely also. So I don't know exactly what to read off of these bans since you already have some illusion clear.
Yeah, I mean, I do think that in general they just don't want to have to deal with heavy micromanagement and
Newbee's
lanes
turn
getting
to
pushed out
pick.
constantly. I do love this pickup from Team Random in terms of being a block pick. Kaka is still one of the best Earth Spirits in the world, as well as of course in China. So being able to take that off the table and make it so that the early roaming from Newbee
10
isn't as
seconds
potent is,
remaining.
in my mind, a pretty good idea. So. I think the
5
Newbee are already in a
seconds
pretty good
remaining.
spot where they just kind of go in with duels and global at the same time, and it should allow K Phoenix to get off to a really good
Reserve time.
start. But Team Random, they're already going to be sacrificing probably, I guess, the off lane and trying to limit experience. It's hard to say, but with a little bit of good movement on the Earth Spirit, they can kind of put a lot of pressure on the enemy course.
Certainly. And Ricky now going to get taken by Newbee, another one of those heroes that's grown in favor. I think probably for me, there's IGV that showed its power with dogfights early, and then Bobica that put it out on the big stage at DAC, and now it's something that we even saw the other game. Kuro was playing it, and he had the most physical damage done on his team in like a 50-minute game just because of how this hero scales. Once you get a couple of those damage items on him, it's incredibly potent.
Definitely, I think the smokescreen is going to be a huge spell now, even more so with the Timbersaw pickup. Like if you go up against Puck and he gets too much of a net worth lead, like a silencer, he'll pop global and then like they're already Yule Scepter on the Puck. But if you can always follow that up with a smokescreen, you're going to be in a pretty good spot here, where it's like you can't really go for an orb jaunt away. The Air Spirit can't roll away easily. Like I do feel like this Riki creates some good opportunities, but also comes at some risk. I do think as well that Earth Spirit could easily be controlling some early Dust of Appearance and can find some picks the other way around. So it's going to be a very interesting back and forth to see how that early movement between Ice, and Kaka works out.
Yeah, and now we have this. This is kind of interesting because you have like the Timbersaw taken into the Ricky Silencer, and then you have the Sven taken into a Timbersaw. So a couple of strength heroes that have to contend with that Whirling Death. Is that big of a deal for Sven, though? Is that something that he has to be worried about in lane, or do you think that the supports that have already been taken for Newbee will be able to zone him out? And is this even going to be an offlane Timbersaw? I guess it's hard to know with Team Random.
Yeah, I guess it is technically hard to know. Could always be like a mid option if they want to run the Puck in the off lane, but I do think at least by default, maybe you're looking, because in my mind, Puck is pretty bad against silencer support, and very scared of Riki as well. So I think Timbersaw would have to be the pickup by going for like a 204 build.
10 seconds remaining.
The fact that it's a strength hero is a little bit worse in terms of going up against the Whirling Death because it's a little bit more damage, but end of the day, it's mostly going to be the same idea. Is still Timbersaw is just try to build up his armor with reactive and try to stay on the lane with his poor man shield, and Sven in the meantime is just going to try to use his heavy base damage to try to get some early CS, maybe harass a little bit with the cleave or something, and then mostly just wait until Riki's in position for a kill. So it's actually going to be really important that Kaka stays off the map as much as possible early, so that Timbersaw is a little bit more afraid and has to kind of be more cautious about his positioning. Because Sven, Riki, okay. Mid silencer, good adjustment, but I'm not sure if they. I feel like it just gives more options to the Timbersaw, to be honest with you.
Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
Yeah, I mean, if that was the case and they did run an offlane puck in a mid-storm, then maybe it is going to be something where we see in the offlane the puck and Faith Beyond selecting that, and then the Derbersaw would be selected. But at this point, it gets even more confusing. I mean, are we seeing like a safe lane Shadow Timbersaw and then the Razor mid against the Silencer? I mean, I think that works pretty well as long as you get good sentry control early. It's just now you have no traditional carry, and you really are going to be looking for some very heavy aggression. I mean, it definitely seems like it. Like, it feels like they have a very clear idea of what they want to do with the game. They can all initiate at the same time, you know, just pop God Strength Stormhammer blinking in and pop the global at the same time. It seems just so bread and butter, and it's something conventional. Whereas this Team Random, it almost feels like they've tried to counterpick the lanes a little bit too hard. Like, we will be seeing Shadow go safe lane against the Legion Commander. We will have Blink take the Razor to the mid and go matching up against that Silencer. I mean, they get the lane matchups they want, and with a hero like Lich that can kind of snowball that with Sacrifice, it could be really good. But if they aren't like dominating by 20 minutes, then I really don't know where the lineup goes from there.
No. Well, here we are off to the races. Faith Beyond going to be playing on that puck. We'll do a couple of these little predictions here as the game goes on. I have no idea what it's going to end up looking like, but I don't even know how to do any of these predictions at this point. The Shadow against the Legion Commander, this is kind of a unique one. You should be able to bully out the Legion more so than you would other offlane heroes, right? Just because of that strength as the main attribute.
Yeah, most definitely. I do think with the early boots, though, it's going to be harder for the supports to zone them out in general. And, you know, I think that Y is happier to be rolling the Sacrifice on bottom to pull back the wave for Faith Beyond. So I actually think that while it is going to be, in the direct trading sense, pretty easy for them to like harass K-Phoenix, it's going to be still pretty difficult to get the kill on him.
Well, some early aggression. The Whirling Death is there. The roll a little bit off the mark, and maybe even going to be able to come and take this bounty rune nonetheless. So that is going to be SC that takes it, as well as Shadow. Yeah. Over there on the south side. I was worried about the Ricky being able to take it away from Blink as well, but did look like that ended up not happening.
Yep. So now we've got like this double Fairy Fire puck, dual laning it up with Y's Sacrifice. It of course sacrifices the range creep here. And it's going to shut down some early experience. I think Faith just goes jungle at this point in time, and will we see some wards in the jungle as well? No. Kaka goes in, poking and prodding with the Frostbite already in place, and it's going to be a very low HP Lich here.
Now, Y having to juke and jive for this one. It does look like they're going to be able to get the stun on it. Faith Beyond gets the jaunt away.
Close.
Very close indeed, and that might be an early shrine.
Yeah,
as
I think
top
that's
lane?
the best way to
I thought they were going to go into KP.
They definitely always have that opportunity, but they did delay the Orb of Venom on Ice, so he's just doing a little bit of damage here, poking and prodding. And I really think that in the end, we're probably going to see Ice rotate away if he realizes the Riki is just going to stay bottom.
Yeah. And there is going to be that Sentry Ward laid down as well, so Kaka now completely free to do what he pleases. And Y also holding on to an Obs Ward makes it unlikely for him to be able to really do anything. But yeah, the denying of the experience into the tri-lane. It's going to be hard to contend with for Newbee, particularly considering how important experience has been with all these Midases picked up and everything else.
Yeah, I do feel like it's going to be on the Crystal Beta to pretty much just go focus on the jungle. And that will generate plenty of experience for the team as a whole. The Sven is also going to be left just solo in the lane with a lot of pulls, so they can try to deal with this nuisance that is the Sacrifice.
A little bit of a misplay there by Faith, I think. Ended up getting the Frostbite onto one of the big creeps, and that gives you a larger creep wave coming in. I don't think that this is the early enough point where they'd be trying to push the wave out intentionally. And, well, there's going to be a huge creep wave going under tower, since we also see the Dire get a pull off.
Yeah, so that is just going to be something that Y has to pull back. In the meantime, that's going to be Puck taking a lot of damage here. Already used his orb and is trying to actually get the kill. He just waiting wrist and gets the freebie onto the Riki. That's first blood for the off-lane Puck.
Yeah, this is a great start right now for Random. The fact that they're going to get Lich almost up to level 3 now. He does still have that sacrifice as well as the Frost Blast. And mid lane, Blink is having an okay time against SC. I feel like everything's kind of working out pretty well for Team Random.
Yeah, at least for the moment here. They do not have a sentry on mid, so they might actually find themselves in a position where they want to go on SCC with the roll, and it turns into a 2v2 that they're not prepared for. So we'll see. Have to see the positions here. It is now a level 2 Riki with Invis and most likely Smokescreen trying to make something happen.
Yeah, still a hard hero to make a play on, and with Ice there, it feels quite tough indeed. There's always going to be the kick to throw out there also. Top lane, it's still been this one-on-one with Timbersaw 12-5 versus the 7-0 of Legion. And everything's sort of just working out. You have the lower cooldown now as well on Sacrifice, 48 seconds. I don't know, though. Like, what is going to be sort of the goals of this match as you go on? Because you're building up a lane advantage, but what do you do with that afterwards if you're Team Random?
I mean, you take it to towers, right? You have to go like siege mode on Razor, either going for like Dragonlance or maybe even the classic mechanism. Then you maybe even Aghanims is probably a potential consideration for longer trajectory and just trying to break the siege, because you cannot like look at this game and say, yeah, we can go 25 minutes. I mean, Lich has some pretty cool talents as time goes by, but I don't think it's going to be something that they want to take to the late game. So as a whole, you take that lane advantage and you need to turn it into something more.
Okay.
This will do nicely.
So we'll see if they can make that happen. Almost, that's 3.5 for the Lich. You're about 3.25 for the Puck. Legion Commander has retreated to the jungle now with the Iron Talon there. KP should be able to farm pretty effectively, and this scan is going to make them realize with the dust being popped that Kaka is in the area, but SC pops the shrine. Looks like Kaka is going to heal up. Everybody going back about their business.
Yep, so ISS is just kind of trying to keep Razor safe at this point. Blink has been doing a pretty good job here on mid, and they want to keep it that way. Right now, they're overall keeping SCC's CS very low, 8 and 7 on the silencer. It's the entire reason they picked Razor is just to keep that CS low, to keep the Razor much higher, and he's actually going to be going for looks like a Drums of Endurance build. Along with the infused raindrops, he's going to have a lot of natural tankiness, and this is going to allow them to kind of just play around him very nicely.
I kind of like this answer too, because in some ways it answers what the Midases were that were earlier getting come out all the time. But SC now in some trouble. They do have the last word out on Ice, but they still will be able to find that kill onto SCCC. They find the return kill now instead, and Blink in some trouble as well. He does end up going down, so a double here for KP. One of those ended up getting shared with the creeps, but nonetheless, great pickup.
Yeah, great rotation here from K Phoenix, able to just get the 2-man overwhelming and turn it out there. I mean, when your Earth Spirit misses the roll like that, you have to commit a few more hits in with that double damage rune, and that just put them in a very low spot where they just couldn't deal with it. Now I'm actually curious if they can try to find a kill.
Faithion, bottom. In trouble. He does get the fairy fire. Oh, gets the jaunt away. So low, but the damage, no, it's not going to be enough. 5 HP was left over for that Puck. Quick fingers on Faithion.
Ridiculously close there, but he gets the ice armor in the middle of it and is able to just barely find essentially the millisecond that you need to jaunt out before an auto attack lands, and you get the distance. Wow, that's just incredible. That's gonna be so frustrating for Newbee as well.
So a great pickup. We do know that Blink is going to be aware that Legion is farming their jungle, since KP went for the creep pull into the dire jungle. Not often seen, but now the roll forward. Ice, again, a little bit off the mark. It's hard to keep up with that Legion. It has come to the tune of Shadow Gain complete and total free farm, though.
Yeah, now at the very least, he's pretty much had a free lane. I drafted really intelligently for the lanes, but this is a problem that you'll see. Like, we used to see it a lot for like tier 2 NA teams, is they would always like focus on the early game, focus on getting momentum. But we've been seeing like the overall time of Dota 2, like the games take longer and longer with each of these patches. And I do feel like it's going to be hard for them to just kind of like batter down one lane and break things apart. We're actually going to see a jump here on the Razor. Should be okay, though, as Faith can't even get in for the Frostbite.
Yeah, and they are perfectly fine there. It does reveal the positioning. Maybe, again, the Lich is some of the answer to it, because if you can deny out enough experience from the supports, then it makes it harder for them to deal with the push when it eventually comes. But like you said, it's outside of the meta. Granted, that's always been Team Random's style, to be outside of the meta and try to pave their own path, but we'll see if the Midases are too strong. That's the current stance of Dota 2.
Yeah, and this one's going to be going for a pretty early build here, the Mask of Madness and Iron Talon. He's just mostly focusing on his early farm, a lot of really fast PvE action in the jungle, and then when he needs to jump into the fights, he just pops all 3 of his spells and goes for the Mask of Madness, and there's almost no repercussion. You're not worried about taking too much physical damage here with your Warcry active, and then you obviously don't care about the silence when you have no spells left to cast, so it's just perfect item.
And in towards mid now, they're going to drop the global there to secure their escape, and now Blink, he is going to end up being in trouble. This has been the bread and butter of Newbee for as long as we've known him, and the duel is going to connect. Blink, though, is he going to end up winning this one in turn? They end up killing off that Legion commander. Now the TP's away onto 2 as soon as that, well, the Dream Coil came out. So Newbee almost able to find the kills with their patented TP rotations.
Yeah, very good response, and even though the duel is able to stretch the maximum possible distance there, it ends up just being a whiff and then a death. So Team Random just heal right back up and get right back to, I assume, a push. Like at this point, you're all grouped up together anyways. You got some pretty short cooldowns on a lot of your spells, so gather it up and try to see what you can do with it. But right now, we have Faith Beyond rotating bottom with Ice Armor, and it looks like Y wants to at least get his level 6.
Yeah. You also have Ice, who's still a little bit starved for levels, and they are going to have a triple stack over here by the hard camps. And one of the few heroes that can still do camp very quickly is Shadow, since a lot of that damage comes out in pure form.
So he's doing really well for himself right now. Casual Hood, the Arcane Boots, and it's going to be rapidly moving in towards the Bloodstone. At that point in time, I think that's when they really pull the trigger on everything. They're kind of building up to that moment, getting a lot of just random items here and there. The Drum for the Razor, the Blink for the Puck. But when that Bloodstone comes out, that's when pretty just, they say, no holds barred, and they go in for a lot of kills.
Now Ice does look to be going down here. They find that duel victory, so starting to stack it up for Legion Commander in the meantime. Shadow, always the guy to take away a little bit of CS there from the Legion Commander.
And at that point, we just kind of see that the Newbee gets to take control of the Dire side of the map, but mostly focusing on taking this top tier 1 tower with the extra damage from the Sven. And Team Random is looking for another rotation play, but the Puck's not ready for it. Like, they are kind of just on their own right now.
Yeah. Didn't end up hitting that roll again. Ice a little bit off the mark. And Razor, in the meantime, they run into a lot of heroes here. Faith going to get that a little bit of extra movement speed, still stacking up the static link, and Faith going to almost go down. They do find the kill, but is Blink going to pay for it with his life? Another duel out, and KP wins another.
Just an awkward movement right now. They're treading water. They're able to kind of like get okay exchanges, but they're getting more duels to the Legion Commander, and just in general, it's like they're not great trades. They're always either just slightly disadvantageous to them or breaking even. They're not really propelling themselves anywhere in this game. And again, this gives Shadow space for whatever he needs, but it's only going to do so much. We have seen some teams, remember old Team Spirit running Ramses in the safe lane as Timbersaw, getting a lot of momentum on this hero and then just like tearing people apart with the spells, but I feel like they're going to need a little bit more than just the Timbersaw to really carry them through this game.
Yeah, and level 6 is up for their supports as well. I mean, you have it on Y, but this Ice, Earth Spirit just hasn't really been able to find the same type of success you would want, and I don't know exactly what that's down to, but it certainly is something that they would have loved to have on their team. As Shadow looking for the last hit on the tower, is going to try and bait out a response from U9 here. Went there and able to get the deny. The stun is not going to come through. And U9 giggles as he runs away from the Timbersaw.
Yep, so in a fine spot there himself. But if he drops a little bit lower, it will be actually a potential kill with the Whirling and the Chakram. But knowing this, SCC and Faith look to kind of bait it out, rotating up top with the smoke right on the lane. Shadow pretty low on mana at this point, and it should be a kill against him.
Yeah, and they're also bringing in the Legion Commander as well, so KP going to get the wraparound, and he's going to find Ice. So Beautiful. Not only is it going to be a kill on the Timbersaw, but they get another duel win. KP is making a great old time for himself.
Yeah, I mean, this is exactly what you expected from Newbee going into this tournament. Obviously had a few shaky matches, but they are finding their form again. They're moving very intelligently. They're prepping their kills exactly like they used to, and now we've got 30 plus damage on the Legion Commander K Phoenix. So yeah, he's in a great spot, going to get his Blink Dagger in a very short time span, and it feels like Team Random are going to be quickly falling behind in this game. I mean, the Puck did just pick up a Hand of Midas, so he's going to be extending the play a lot, trying to get some of his talents a little bit faster. But I mean, no matter what you really get on a Puck, it's still going to be a Puck. And at the time that this Midas really accumulates its full value, like 30 plus minutes into the game, we're going to be seeing some big items on Newbee, some BKBs, and just some capabilities to fight it on all odds.
I mean, and not to mention that, but you talk about what the eventual Blink Dagger is going to mean for Legion. If you have Ricky out there scouting for a little bit of extra information and he finds somebody in Legion's around, it is going to be so many dual victories on top of each other because you already have that 30 damage. So you're hitting for now roughly 146 damage per hit on Legion. Yeah, a couple right clicks from Ricky is all they're going to need to secure those dual victories, and maybe even now it can just walk up and possibly secure a tower unless Shadow has something to say about it.
Yeah, that's some nice farming efficiency at the same time from the Sven. Farms up both ancient camps with the same god strength, thanks to just teleporting over to the shrine, and is able to find himself the Sange first and the Yasha pretty soon thereafter.
Well, Legion in the dire jungle yet again. Y is here. And if he shows in lane, this is probably going to be a dive. Bottom lane, there is Kaka that's scouting out Faith Beyond as well as Ice Ice. And it looks like Y, realizing there could be trouble with Bruin, is going to back behind the trees.
In the meantime, like, this stalemate period is just time where Team Random isn't really acting offensively. Shadow is going to go ahead and go past the tower. Creep cutting here allows the reactive armor to kind of do what it needs to, and they'll just cut the wave, kill the tower off, and try to start rotating again. They've got 2 towers up, but U9 tries to at least match the damage they're doing bottom.
Radiant structures are fortified.
So, tier 1 tower going to go down in the bottom lane, up towards the top. They've caught on to KP. That was what they needed. The Dream Coil in concert with that Chain Frost, and they find a kill. Now in the mid lane, they're looking for another rotation. Ice Ice found out by Kaka and Faith. There's 4 heroes here, but now Shadow's shown up. He jumps into the cloud. The CM ulti is there as well. They've got so much damage, and Shadow global silence as well. He is going to drop. The lone hero that was having a great game for Team Random falls down. Faith is going to die. Maybe they can make up for it here with a couple more picks, but there isn't another catch here as Dream Coil has already been used in the top lane.
Yeah, I mean, they got the coil plus the Chain Frost onto Legion Commander. Great kill there, but the rebuttal in mid is just that much better. Newbee, especially with the great silence coming out from SCC, are able to take out some really good kills, and just the kill score continues to be in their favor. Toma Knowledge now comes out in the CM, so they're going to be able to build yourself up really nicely here while still keeping the wards alive. I gotta say that Team Random need to find something big, and it's got to be more than just like a 1 or 2 pickoffs.
I will also mention, though, that they've been able to take down 2 tier 1 towers, whereas on the side of Newbee, they haven't been able to secure tier 1 yet. So the objective scenario is still a little bit into their favor. Do you feel like maybe the idea might be to, now that you have the drums up on Razor, just go for that mid-tier 1? Or do you think that they need another item first before that's capable of happening? As, well, Blink is going to get picked off in the jungle. I believe that this should be dual victory. Not quite there.
Missed it. So they do not get the winner there, but they, of course, get a nice little pick. But, I mean, all in all, I don't think the towers are even going to be, like, the biggest resource for Team Random because Newbee are not afraid of diving past them. They're, like, perfectly equipped to just go in, blink, or run past the tower and dive underneath it. It's almost a false security to have them all up. Sure, Team Random have been active and breaking the tier 1s down, but the biggest question is, when can Team Random really look at the other objectives? Tier 2 towers, Roshan. They're still very, very slow at these processes, and while they can fight decently, Newbee can farm faster. They've shown it with U9 on the Ancients, so they're already looking for an opportunity here on Shadow. Are going to be able to get the stun instead of the TP, and that might just be his death.
He does have the reactive armor, but No way out of that one. Far too much damage with the Mask of Madness and Shanj and Yasha done.
Oh,
top lane, there is some action going on as they're almost able to bring down KP, but he just gets the TP away, and Faith hiding away in the trees. They are not going to find him.
Yeah, it's not working right now. They are trying to do as much as they can with Faith beyond his Blink Claw. He's making some great rotations, finally finds his Blink Dagger, but we've seen multiple times just heroes just TPing away, no problem at all. And just in general, Newbee have survived through multiple occasions that Team Random were desperately for kills.
And this could be another big duel win. If Faith does wrap around here with the CM, she has the freezing field available, and it looks like that is indeed what they're going to be going for. Freezing field ready to come out. KP gets the duel, and that should be enough damage to bring down Blink. Maybe? No. Still don't get the duel victory, but they get the kill nonetheless.
Yeah, it's frustrating for the Razor, but it's also not exactly what KP was looking for. And it comes down a little bit to RNG there. If Faith is a little bit closer, the freezing field has a slightly greater chance of inflicting damage on the Razor, but no matter what, you kind of have to just pray a little bit for it. It's not gonna come guaranteed.
Yeah. And it's a testament to how tanky Razor is that he's able to last that long through the duel, but likewise, it feels as if they're kind of holding out for the late game, but I don't know, is their late game good? That to me feels like more the style that Team Random is playing as opposed to having this need to get things done quickly, as Kaka now is going to end up dropping.
Yep, nice little pickup there, but they did smoke for it. Like, they're being proactive. I like it, but yeah, I think they have to just keep it rolling. They can't really stop to stop. Shadow will go ahead and take up the mid tier 1. They'll trade their top tier 1 for it. There will also be the pickup on the Lich bottom, which is just a solo kill from bo3.
We do have the Lich who finished off the medallion as well, so there's some Roche taking potential, at least a little bit more than there would have been otherwise, as Timbersaw is going to try and chase down U9, but with the blink already done on this guy, just picked up right now, they aren't going to be able to find that kill.
Yeah, we're going to have to see some really big things from Shadow, and we're going to have to see them soon. He's already kind of falling behind in net worth. Him and Faith Beyond are both behind Silencer and the Sven, so it just kind of feels like with the Razor so far behind already, that everything really rests on Shadow, finding the Bloodstone and using it. Like, they have a very narrow window at this point in time. It's going to get narrower if KP finds another kill. Oh,
and they instead jump here onto Faith Beyond. That is an easy one to take, and now Timbersaw also in trouble. They have a way to break this TP as Faith is in the area, so still on cooldown anyways. It wouldn't have mattered. Shadow going to drop as well. From bad to worse, Team Random have not found an answer this game.
Just going right in. Tower doesn't matter at all. Just dives right on top of it. We'll take a little stun here, so there's going to be enough for the Lich to get away, but they'll just go ahead and clean this one up. Kill score of 14-7, and the tower's now evened out. Newbee are on a tear, and I don't really know what can stop them.
Yeah, and this is looking to be another one coming up shortly. How do you really make any type of a play at this point with so many heroes dead? Ice just going to get ran down and destroyed. The Chain Frost already used, but to what end? There's nothing really happening for him. Blink trying to steal some damage and does end up taking 63 away. But honestly, now you just jump back in. You have the duel. Kaka's there, global as well. No way to save him. Blink is going to drop. Still no dual damage victory, but maybe they've thrown a little bit too far. Silence onto U9. You do have the Timbersaw dealing out the damage now. They take him down at the very least. Can they find any more off the back of this? Faith Beyond jumping forward, fourth Faith, and is going to be able to get that kill as well. Shadow taking it, still looking for Kaka. He's dusted, but not going to be able to catch him. SC magnetized now as well. There's the silence. They get the press the attack off, but maybe still they can find this kill on the silencer. The magnetize was taken away. Chase, the right clicks. They're coming through the chakram. They have found that kill as well. So Team Random picking up the pieces that were thrown on the floor earlier.
Yeah, definitely punishing the aggression, and that's very important at this stage of the game. Just being able to at least fight under your towers when the big dives come through, but Newbee is still really strong and going to continue to build themselves up. Mighty's up for KP, Diffusal coming in pretty soon for the Riki, and surprisingly Sven will actually be going for the Crystallis before the BKB. I figure if he just goes BKB, he's kind of just unstoppable in each and every fight, but Okaka, that may be a mistake. Going for the bounty rune, and instead getting dusted up. He'll try to wait out the dust here. Do they have a second set? No, it doesn't seem to be enough time. It is just going to be him going down. A little too much avarice and greed in his eyes.
Yeah, and I mean, it was enough to get Shadow into the Bloodstone those past couple of kills as well. Like, I'm completely with you that it feels like this is still just a hiccup for Newbee, where they've been playing it so crisp and clean before, but it is still that situation where he can't give away all those kills. Now Shadow gonna have to use the Bloodstone Suicide right off the bat, so down to 8 charges.
Not a great way to start off that item. Buy the Bloodstone, immediately have a spin in your face, and just have to deny. That's pretty painful, to be honest with you. And now I really think it's all up to like the next play. Like they have to go for a big Blink Dream Coil Chain Frost and just hope it'll be enough. They have great magical spells, nukes. Like they have Magnetize, they can keep on refreshing with Stone Remnants. They have this Chain Frost which will bounce around at least like 5 or 6 times in most fights, but right now they just, it's all on Faith Beyond to find these openings, and it's also on Newbee to give it to them. If Newbee just spread the map and farm, they'll probably be in a fine position where they just can continue to build up the big items, get the BKBs that nullify about half the damage output of Team Random.
Yeah. And, well, for Random, building into the Sanj and Yasha, it's so tough because there's a lot of burst damage that comes out once U9 jumps onto somebody. And so you're not really able to deal with that as a Razor super effectively unless you can build up the static link charges, but that also requires you to find the initiation, and Ricky just takes that opportunity away because of his constant scouting around the map, and now very close to having the Diffusal Blade done. We're gonna have to see something here out of Team Random. I don't know if they can make it happen. Smoke gank here might be the beginning of the answer to deal with Newbee, although Kaka is going to be the one that breaks it looks like, and Dust, is it there? It's not there. They do not have any reveal at all. The Dust was on Earth Spirit at the back.
Very unfortunate just to walk right into him, and with that Newbee just get to reset things. There's really nothing hurting them at all. And Sven does end up going for the BKB first, which is absolutely the right call. He will be just about like very shortly picking that up, 600 gold. And he will have it. The Legion working their way towards it too. When those BKBs come out, there's very little that Team Random can do to close this game. I mean, yeah, Puck will be looking at a Lotus Orb to make sure that he can dispel the silence. He maybe looks towards like an Aghanim Scepter to try to kite and control these melee opponents. But long run, it's only like temporary solutions for a greater problem that Newbee are just a stronger team at this stage and in this game.
Yeah. Well, another one of those moments, too, where to me it feels like it's emblematic of the woes that Team Random has had. That, like, that wasn't a problem, that last rotation of, like, either A, the draft being wrong necessarily or anything else. It was just a simple mistake. You don't send the person with Dust up front when you're going against a Ricky for a smoke gank. Like, it's a very small thing, but it sort of shows what the little things that have added up to Team Random being behind in this game.
Yeah, it definitely is the case, and it's just these little things are adding up very quickly here. I mean, I like the overall idea of what they're trying to bring to this draft. You look at like a hero like Timbersaw that already can get a lot of durability with reactive armor, add in something like a Shiva's Guard and Glitch's Ice Armor, he's super tanky. Looks like Puck is kind of doing the same thing with the Lotus Orb as well. They're just trying to survive all this physical damage, and they will be tanky. Like, you'll see this Timbersaw last a while, but in the end, he still will fall.
All right, Chain Frost, here's the time to shine, but the Global has already come out. It's still bouncing around, but now it's finally done, and now what are you going to do? Razor maybe can run down 1 or 2 of them, but they go immediately roll into the silence, and now U9 turns to fight. A beautifully laid out one by Kaka. He's been having an amazing game for himself, and U9 is just going to continue to run these heroes down. A little bit of a mischance. Solar Crest turns out to still be a good item, but it will not save him from the man who has the last word, the Silencer. Faith Beyond, choppy coming out from U9. Poor Faith Beyond.
Surrounded and routed at this point. Newbee are just too strong, being able to just pop their BKBs throughout that situation. I mean, they only had the one, and it was plenty for that kill. Just being able to find exactly the right target and going for a shot now. I mean, Team Random, again, just losing more and more Shadow, losing Bloodstone, just they want to initiate, they want to do something, but getting caught by Riki Cloud, being caught by the Sven stuns, like, There's just the control is on point. NewBee are using their spells very effectively, and they're really minimizing any chance for random to bring it back.
Well, this is gone from, again, bad to worse to really bad for Team Random. I keep on wanting to say Wings, no longer. But I don't know. If there is a bright spot, it's like a 10,000 net worth lead. The Timbersaw is still very tanky. We've talked about their ability to sustain throughout a fight, and they have a couple of different heroes that if they do manage to stay alive, do a lot of damage, but they need to survive the burst that's coming, and we just haven't seen that happen.
Yeah, I mean, you've got like Solar Crest and Lotus Orb that you can put on the hero that's in trouble, and that can be all well and good, but at the end of the day, you still need this Chain Frost to do some absolute work, and there's a chance he doesn't even get it off if they can make the jump on the right target. We'll see right now a BOT in from SCC, who's already got Hurricane Pike, Midas, and Drum. This was not the mid laner that we saw shut down in the laning phase.
Also getting a Lotus Orb. It's just every item in the book right now, trying to make whoever gets hit with a tanky. I mean, Timbersaw is going to have a lot of armor. It's going to be interesting to watch that, but it's just all those strats together. Faith Beyond, Silence gets off for SC. Nicely done there as well, but now the stun, jaunt away, okay. But KP able to blink out before they can find a counterplay.
That'll kind of cover everything. I mean, NewBee reset. They continue to do what they're doing. BKB out on Legion Commander. Sven's is down to 9 seconds, but still has plenty to work with here, and he's just going to go for the Bloodthorn, at which point, like, even somebody that feels tanky, like they should be tanky, like the Timbersaw, can get crit so hard, so quickly that it just doesn't matter.
Well, oh, it is a problem, but Blink in the meantime, he's trying to finish off that BKB for himself. I don't know if NewBee are even under any great need to end the game right now. I feel like their draft still continues to get stronger as the game goes on, but with spent up 5,000 net worth, that there's a decent timing here as they jump forward. Global already comes out. There's going to be a jaunt or a catch there on Faith Beyond as well. He drops the Dream Coil into 3.
But not much more than that, and they didn't even have to pop really anything. Just the Global Silence there, and they get to just go ahead and take down this tier 2. It's like the ice armor's not even there. It doesn't feel like it.
Oh, good frostbite through, and then the duel onto Blink. They're taking so much damage from U9. Oh, it hurts, and Shadow also going to be controlled up. Frostbitten again. No way to Timber Chain out of that one. The silence comes, but far too late. Triple kill for U9. He wants to jump onto Faith Beyond, but Faith Beyond already back. So the tower going to drop. And NewBee, dominant in this one.
Yeah, it's just a very ambitious draft from Team Random. Like, if they were able to execute perfectly, we could see it theoretically that they could be trying to break high ground early and stopping this all from happening. But yeah, I'm just going to call it. It is too late at this point in time. The heroes are just not equipped to deal with this unless there's some massive throws from NewBee. We'll see them go in, maybe one last hurrah, but right now NewBee breaking down the tier 3, looking for the racks, and Team Random just left dumbfounded.
It is a huge problem. There's a good amount of stuns coming out from Ice Ice. Doing his very best to help out in this game, but now there's the Dream Coil going to be leveled out as well. There's a hell of a lot of Lotus Orbs. Is it going to be enough? Magnetized onto several. Ice Ice is gone, though. And Faith Beyond, barely left alive, is going to be able to escape for the moment. The Timbersaw also dealing out a good bit of damage, but now the Magnetize is done. They turn back around. Shadow going to get dueled. Blink, not long for this world either. They pop the BKB, turn to try and take down the Razor. He's still stealing damage and is going to be able to shrine up to stay alive. But nonetheless, it does look like NewBee will be able to live with all of their important heroes, while Random had to give up a good deal for that one.
Now the melee racks being gone, NewBee have the full map to work with here. It's going to be an AC coming up pretty soon for the Silencer. Bloodthorn is almost complete for the spend. At this point, the Legion can pretty much go for whatever else he wants to, and they have everything in the bag. They probably at this point get a Gem of True Sight, start really condensing the map and making it so that Team Random don't have any safe place to work with. I mean, I like it. The idea, at least, of the Lich Puck offlane, I can definitely see where that works. but I feel like you still have to have more follow-up than just the Chain Frost in terms of damage. We got to see everybody drop really low thanks to Magnetize, but in the end, they just need more oomph. They just needed a carry position other than this Timber Saw to really make it work. Again, in perfect execution, I could see Shadow carrying this game just with Timber Saw alone, but we're not seeing perfect execution. We're seeing KP just wrecking.
112 duel damage, and his team's been helping him set it up for it. It's been great individual play by him as well. Team Random, struggle bucket city.
And there's the geometry sight on the Riki, actually given to him by Faith, and he just moves around, takes care of every observer and sentry he can find, and just the map is theirs. Bloodthorn up for Sven, now can kill anybody, just mano a mano, and just needs to get in position to do so. Team Random, pretty much their only safe place is their base, and that's going to be only for a few minutes longer.
You can Lotus Orb off the Bloodthorn, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
okay.
So you can do that. Any kind of self-dispel will be perfectly fine there, but obviously they have a lot to worry about already. Like if you're frostbitten inside the smoke screen, you Lotus Orb, but you still can get Bloodthorn pretty easily.
Yeah, and this is a last-ditch effort. The silence connects onto SC. They're able to break the tether immediately with the force step afterwards, and SC is going to fall here, but so too is potentially all of Team Random. The duel is there. A lot of damage being dealt. Fate's ulti is coming out as well. A double kill for U9. Chain Frost bouncing, but is it going to be enough?
Oh.
Actually ended up killing off Faith with all those bounces back and forth. There's going to be a jaunt out of the damn place potentially as now Faith Beyond Gain ran down. A couple more right clicks. Do they have eyes on him? No, they don't actually have vision. But instead, it's going to be Y turned upon. Ultra kill for U9. Wants that rampage. Give it to the man. Is it going to happen, though? He could go for the blink back in. The Faith Beyond jumping away. The right clicks coming in. Oh, he's not quite there. Give the guy the rampage. Come on. Be a pal. Be a friend. Faith Beyond, the Riki goes for the jump away and still alive on 100 HP. U9 is hungry. The Stalker trying to kill it off. Kaka, what have you done? All right, they find the kills nonetheless, and that was a decent hold for Team Random there.
I mean, the Chain Frost did amazing work. There was a sentry down, so unbeknownst to Kaka, he was actually putting himself in a spot to just kill off his buddy Faith. The Crystal Maiden really probably frustrated at that, but you know, that's the dream. Like, that's the Chain Frost bouncing out non-stop, and that's only works in some very limited situations. So I do feel like as long as NewBee are cognizant of that, continue to spread out, there are 3 heroes that can already negate it, whether they're Tricks of the Trading or BKBing, and then the other 2 heroes just have to be very careful with their positioning, and this Chain Frost should not be as big of a threat. But as I say that, while that was just a one-man Dream Coil from Faith Beyond, he is approaching Aghanim Scepter very rapidly, and he can theoretically get a really big coil. This is where, if this draft has any real potential value, you're going to see it with this Aghanim's puck.
Okay. And he is going to have that now. I don't imagine that you save for buyback at this instance. You buy the Ags.
Oh, yeah, no. You just get it, please. Like, this is so important. This is, I mean, if you look at the numbers for this Aghanim Scepter, it's actually insane. The stun duration for when you break this Dream Coil is 4.5 seconds. It's already going through spell immunity. So what that means is that you're really going to be screwed if you get caught in that Dream Coil. But of course, it has to be followed up upon. You have to have Timbersaw and the Lich there, and obviously they're trying to get these BKBs to wear down. 6 seconds left on Sven, 8 seconds left on the Legion Commander.
We also do have Lich, who's trying to build towards his Aghanim Scepter. Maybe this was always the dream. You can stun somebody forever, and you can hit them with Chain Frost forever. That is, I mean, it's going to come a lot later, but
yeah, I feel like this lineup would work really well against like a Meepo. Honestly, like these heroes are really well designed to try to punish really big clumping up and grouping in general. But if NewBee play it smart, they shouldn't be susceptible to all these ultimates. They still can kind of space themselves out. You've seen what U9 can do, how quickly he can kill a target. If he was, 10 minutes behind in farm, that would be a different story. But I mean, he is like queuing up Hyperstones. He's looking at his Demon Edge. Like, he's just got so much right now.
Yeah, really and truly a monster. That is the MKB that's completed and being flown out right now to U9. So avoid fights and then take the perfect one. is probably what Team Random are looking to do. Unfortunately, this is about to be a duel onto Shadow, and he is not going to live. KP does far too much damage, and they're even going to get the duel victory up to 140 now, and that was before the Mjolnir that's completed came out to the Legion even at all.
Yeah, and they just continue to build up from here. Basher coming out on the Riki. Roche, number 2, going to be in the books, and that is going to be their call to high ground. At this point, the only thing, again, they have to worry about is grouping up on those steps and letting Faith Beyond and Y combo on real teams.
All right, well, Blink AC, a distant dream for Team Random as they get ready for a high ground hold. They've already lost the barracks in the mid lane, obviously, and Newbee getting set up for what should be a... I mean, unless there's the perfect team fight. Again, it's all about that puck Ags. How many people does he need to hit? Is it like 3, 4?
Easily 3.
Okay.
1 or 2 will not be enough. He has to hit like at least 3, and you know this entire lineup makes it difficult. You get silenced by one spell, you Lotus it, and then you get Bloodthorn. It just puts you in a really awkward spot. I just feel like right now they could just kind of space themselves out like you see here in a concave, and there won't be any opening to find.
And right now, also, they do have complete total vision. That ward is now taken down. U9's still there up front center. KP goes for the catch. There's a Dream Coil. On to 2 of them, on to 3. It might be enough. There's Blink in the midst of all of it. Shadow's actually able to live through this, and with the BKB pop, stealing all that damage from New9. This might be the fight that they're looking for. Now the Chain Frost starting to bounce between the 2 of them. U9 is going to drop a double kill for Blink. Shadow also turning to fight now onto KP. They take him down as well, and suddenly Newbee have lost all their damn heroes. Team Random coming back strong and probably going to be able to take down SC to boot.
Yeah, coming in so confidently with that duel, but that puts them in a clumped up position where 2 heroes get Dream Coiled and the Chain Frost is perfect, and they just can't deal with that. They can't afford to clump up like this. I really feel like this just resets Newbee to a position where they're like, okay, let's try that again in like 10 to 15 minutes. And they're just going to farm. They're just going to go for like harder Tarrasques and other raw HP tools so they don't end up feeding away.
Hold on. This is 60 seconds with no heroes here, and Shadow is at their base.
Doesn't hit very fast, but he should at least be hitting. And trying to break the tower down as quickly as possible. That is going to be a range Rax that will be dropped very low. I don't think they necessarily finish it, but I mean, Puck, he's coming in, he's got plus 50 damage, and they're going to actually try to finish this. Or just take it down a single Rax.
There's no buybacks that are coming right now, and Random, they're somehow going to be able to find a ranged barracks at the very least. Melee is actually going to go down. All of these heroes in the area, and if they catch Kaka at this point in time in the game, dare to dream. Team Random. Blaze, have we seen a bigger flub than this so far in the group stages? I don't think so.
I mean, certainly not while I've been watching. This is like some 3157 type stuff, but they're both from the same country. I just don't know. It's really tough because, you know, Newbee felt, you know, they have all these dual victories, they have all this working for them. They feel that they should just be able to walk up and take the high ground. But I think the biggest mistake was just blinking in for the duel. Like, that you can't treat it like it's an open lane situation. You have to realize that your entire team has to follow you up the steps to get in that position, and you just set yourself up for failure.
Can I just mention real quickly that the score is 33-22, by the way?
Excellent. Just perfect.
It's dank. The most dank timeline is Kaka. It's going to head off. Okay, so we've seen the throws occur. It is roughly a 10 to 12,000 net worth swing, right around 20,000 almost experience swing. But does it change the status quo? Like, can Random take a team fight outside of just defending high ground now?
It changes the timeline. It means that Newbee have to farm for another like 15 minutes to be really confident and not run into that again. If they keep on like just trying to end the game right now, they actually could very well lose this game in the exact same fashion we just saw them lose that team fight. But if they take a deep breath, if they're patient about it, and they say, you know, we don't care if this game goes 50, 60 minutes, then they can still like guarantee this. Like, this should still be like a 99% win for Newbee. But, you know, it comes down to patience. It comes down to not putting yourself in that position again where you're finding yourself on the high ground with all these heroes just susceptible to all this AoE. beyond that, I mean, I'm like trying to think of if like the Earth Spirit can somehow pull an Aghanim Scepter out of nowhere, that maybe that could be decisive or impactful, but most of the upgrades from here will really not change much. I really do feel like this is critical mass for Team Random as their draft, and they still have to wait for Newbee to continue to make mistakes. And in the meantime, Newbee, if they just farm, spread, do their thing, they're fine. But we do see a smoke play. We do see them making their move past the Roche pit towards the top lane.
It's a really long respawn time too, 4 minutes away from it. Also worth noting, we've gotten level 25s on Razor, so he has the plus static link damage.
Ooh, that's good.
Incredibly effective. Faith Beyond is very, very close to level 25 here as well. And we also have the bonus strength on Timbersaw, so even more tanky than he was previously. But Puck just wanting to get into this, that way you can get into that extra gold per minute. And now Puck does have that gold per minute talent increased as well.
Yeah, so that's going to be pretty interesting to keep your eye on. This is actually going to be like Dagon 5 pretty much guaranteed for the Puck in a very short time span. 420 gold per minute. You can just watch his gold fly up. Doesn't have to farm a single thing for him to just become as rich as can be. He's never going to have to really worry about buyback status. He's always going to pretty much be able to buy whatever he wants. I mean, this is going to become very quickly a 6-slotted Puck. Like, that is the one thing that they really have going for them. Other than that, Lich gets an interesting talent of 120 GPM, and so that Aghanim Scepter is actually a realistic purchase in the next like 5 to 10 minutes.
I can't believe the way that this game has turned around, and you still have a Sven that is incredibly farmed in this game, but he has these items with the BKB down to 5 seconds now and getting damage stolen at such an alarming rate by Blink. He also didn't end up going for the 65 damage talent. He went for the -8 second Stormhammer cooldown, which is good, but again, is it good enough that like you're gonna be able to like do enough damage to burn through all of this armor that you've got on Team Random?
I mean, I think that they're still okay on that front. It's not always, the defender isn't always going to be hitting as hard as he wants to, but at the end of the day, God's Strength is still an amazing buff. I mean, that is still 200% bonus damage from a base of 179. So he's still going to be hitting in like the 500s easily, and maybe even closer to 600. So all said and done, Razor will steal a lot of damage, 42 damage per second, pretty massive. But if you're targeting the Sven, he's still got a lot to spare. Is my overall mindset. But that being said, I think the big thing that you hit on is the 5-second BKB. Like, he's strong, he can do a lot, but if he gets caught in the coil while he's BKB'd and then doesn't get to maneuver around that, suddenly his BKB's gone and they start slowing him down with all these various spells, and he actually might just not be able to stay on target at all.
I don't know what the record is for the biggest comeback in a Valve-sponsored event, but up towards the 30,000 mark has got to be close to it. It's quite a conundrum and rough place that Newbee have found themselves in. There is some movement down here towards the bottom. It looks like Random are just going to back out, play this style of prolonging the game as long as possible. And you're getting towards the next round of items as well. The heart going to come up for Blink. This game well within reach for them now after looking incredibly bleak beforehand.
Yeah, I mean, right now Blink's job is just to stay in close proximity and keep the static link on any carry, either the Legion or the Sven, maybe even the Silencer. Just try to keep that damage steal, and eventually, like, he's a full tank right now with very little damage, but if he can keep his Blink going for like a good 10 seconds or so, then yeah, he's going to be able to hit really hard. I mean, 10 seconds of damage strain from Blink would be like 420 bonus damage. So he's going to be able to actually dish it out as well as he can take it. It's a matter of time. And I think, yeah, the Puck can buy that time. The one thing I will talk about, though, is how Faith Beyond is spending his money. Dagon, we saw how great Dagons can be like in the late game scenario in that one amazing TI6 game. It was like Evil Geniuses versus one of the Chinese teams, but the big thing here is I really do feel while Dagon can be really good, Refresher might be better. Like, if you get 2 Dream Coils in these fights to extend it and to just set up even more Chain Frost damage and more static-like action, you might be able to just outright win every fight.
And it's also, like you talked about earlier, the Aghanim Scepter that's coming up for Lich. He did end up investing in that Force Staff, so again, thinking about breaking the coil in the beginning of the fight, that's certainly a possibility and something that they might be looking to do. Are there any other force staffs that they have online? I don't believe so.
No,
so,
they're
no.
Pike on the silencer, but he's obviously not going to be jumping anybody around too much here and there. He's actually going to be looking for Hex next. He's getting to a point where he's going to eventually sell this Hand of Midas. But you're also getting to a point where Aegis and Cheese is about to hit the deck. So, very quick Roshan, no problem at all. Hardened Grasp does come out for the Razor. But, yeah, Aegis going to be going to the silencer, and the Cheese will be picked up by...
And in the meantime, they have to come and contend with the fact that they have super creeps inside of their base. So SC clearing these out to the best of his abilities, trying to get into a Scythe of Ice now as well, which could be a pretty big boon for their team as a whole. But again, it's, you know, not that big of a deal, I don't think. I guess it's a pretty big deal if you catch out something like the Puck, but since Puck has the Lotus Orb, should be able to save most of the other team because of that mobility that this hero has.
Yeah, so in a pretty good spot himself. Faithbeyond now has Dagon 4 up, still has buyback as well, and you're just going to continue to see him build up. So get Dagon, maybe get Hex, maybe get Refresher. These items are all going to be very valuable across the board. And I guess, yeah, Team Random are just kind of going to wait out the Aegis and look for the Aghanims as soon as possible on the Lich. So he unfortunately didn't get to invest in a Midas, so he's only really been making bank since he hit level 20 with that GPM talent. But eventually he'll get there, and when he does, that still has, like, I mean, theoretically unlimited potential in terms of the infinite bounces.
God, and just look at it again. It's been such a huge swing back into their favor, and it's almost impossible to overstate how much ahead Newbee were when that one team fight along the top lane where they wiped all of Newbee just completely turned this back around. But Newbee getting into position to try and pick up where they left off. They do again have the Aegis here.
But this is different. As long as they don't put the melee heroes on the high ground, as long as they just hit with the Silencer, who has Aegis, like, they should be fine. They have a 10-second BKB on a Silencer. He's got Aegis, he's got AC. Like, just let him wail away at it. But we are seeing Ice Armor being prepped on the racks, and just in general, Random ready for a fight.
They are completely prepared for this. Dagon goes out as well. They're taking down these creeps. There's still the pressure coming in along the bottom lane from the super creeps that were taken out earlier. So SC trying to take down these barracks. He's still taking a lot of damage. The stun is going to go through. Shadow is there as well. They jump through. They take down the Aegis. Newbee need to find an answer now.
You're just on such a timer. Like, they can't commit. They realize this. They, okay, well, this Dagon 5, maybe not that scary on one usage, but when you get it on a 15-second cooldown, just keep on spamming it, you're really on the clock. Your pressy attack can't sustain you against this. It's ridiculous. The Puck will continuously be able to just go up there, pop you one, and take out a huge chunk of your health pool. And so the would-be Besieger SCC just doesn't have any HP to work with. It's just, it's a really weird spot where you don't want the melee heroes that are tanky up front and dealing with that because they get caught by the spells, but then you get this guy that needs to break the racks and he's only got 2,500 HP.
And unfortunately, Faith is going to be the pick-off person as Newbee again losing these heroes, and now Random in a position to think about sieging themselves. You have 70 seconds with no CM. I don't know how you try and take this fight right here, but Newbee need to find an answer quick.
I mean, it's just so difficult now. Like, you're walking right into the Puck. Anything that they do, they're going to take out all the outer towers. They're going to take the shrines as well. That should be no problem. It'll take certainly some time, but they're actually in an okay position to just fight as it is. Like, it's actually so incredible they take a lineup with essentially no late game heroes, but in conjunction, using all their abilities appropriately in the fights, they're still a major threat. And Faith Beyond continues to be the biggest threat of all, as he's going to just continue to rack up this massive GPM. 5,000 gold banked after all that. Yeah.
Has the Dagon level 3. Interestingly enough, we have seen that the Lich is looking to build into the E-Blade instead of going for the Aghanim Scepter that he had queued up earlier. So this, again, it's another great item that helps to accentuate the amount of damage that's being dealt out by the pup Dagon, by his ulti when he does decide to throw it. And Newbee, they've got these heroes that are great at being able to scale into the late game. it's just a matter of the fact that these BKBs are now very low duration. You have 5 seconds left on the one for Sven. You've got 7 seconds on the Legion Commander. Ricky's going to transition into a very strong right-clicking hero as well, and he already has to a large extent, but he's also paper thin.
Yeah, it's very true. And he just can't get caught out. Like, one spell connects on him, he doesn't have a BKB to fall back on. He doesn't have any answer. So it's actually a very tough spot where he has to only jump in with the Blink Dagger right when he's going to pop his ultimate. I also got to talk about U9's itemization and just say that the Sven isn't really in the spot that he should be. He's like got an MKB. All that's countering necessarily is the Solar Crest on the Lich, and that's just not that big of a deal in my mind compared to actually enhancing his HP pool. Like, getting a Heart of Trasker with Satanic would allow him to sustain through all this damage that's coming against him. But like, he's just actually sitting on pretty bare bones in terms of his just raw strength items, and I feel like that is the biggest adjustment they need. U9 needs to be confident to go in, even if his BKB is only at 5.
And they actually need to be a little bit careful here because not all of their heroes have TPs, most notably Sven. And so the puck is here. They're going to end up smoking. They're walking back around. Are they going to run into Blink? Is this the hero that they really want to go on, though? There's the Global Silence right off the start. Shadow going to be the one that's gone upon. Can they bring down this Timbersaw? He's so low. They are going to be able to find it, but stealing away the damage from SC. There's the buyback immediately. Faith Beyond trying to run away. The Chain Frost is bouncing. It's starting to deal the damage. Blink is still at 157, but it's not enough. There's still too much damage coming out, and now Ice forced to jump away. Shadow as well, trying to get out of there. Kaka takes down Y in the meantime, and you have lost 4 heroes right there, the very least 4 Team Random.
Yeah, I mean, that's the fight that they desperately needed. Finding the Timbersaw first and foremost, get him to buy back despite Bloodstone, very key. And yeah, the Chain Frost does a lot of damage, but in the end, it's just not enough to actually kill off any of these heroes with the Crystal Maiden. So they're going to see what they can do with this. They've already forced one buyback. Another one bites the dust with Puck coming back in. He's not too worried about his gold, but the Death Timer certainly will hurt. Aghanim Scepter up for the Earth Spirit. Is that a buyout for that?
Yes, it was.
700 gold short of buyback, but Ice now has the Enchant Remnant and might need to use it here.
Oh yeah, he's going to be able to keep Shadow alive for the moment. KP looking for the dual target, but now they're caught in the Axe Puck ulti. Blink, though, he's going to get dueled. They need to keep him alive. The Enchant Remnant is not going to be there in time. Ice not able to save his core, and now Razor's dead for 100 seconds. No buyback. Faith Beyond getting gone on yet again. 4th step forward. The Geomagnetic Grip was canceled out by that 4th step, and the stun that came out as well. Now U9's going to town. It was all a beautiful dream for a little while there. Team Random taking it. But GG is going to be called as Newbee put the kibosh on the hopes and dreams of the former Wings.
They certainly made him work for it. I mean, Team Random turning this lineup into something that actually could threaten the potential game here 54 minutes in. Absolutely insane. It just shows why this team is to be respected at pretty much any stage, that they're never to be counted out, because as it was kind of predicted, their dive